afternoon, everyone. My name is Joy King, and I'm a public diplomacy officer at the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi. On behalf of the United States Embassy and its American Center, I want to thank you for joining us today. The American Center New Delhi is the U.S. Embassy's public engagement space, where we connect with Indian citizens to share U.S. culture. We are home to the Nexus Business Incubator and iHub, a specialized reference and research facility that offers access to comprehensive and authoritative information on the United States, its people, and its policies. We host many events such as film screenings, art exhibits, panel discussions, workshops, and cultural performances. Of course, due to COVID-19, all of these events are currently hosted virtually. But we are excited to invite you all back to this space as soon as we can. I welcome you today to Culture Connects, a year-long series of events presented by the American Center New Delhi in association with Wild City and Mutech SF. The series responds to the cultural transformation brought by the pandemic, especially on the creative sectors in India. Join us as we explore themes of music, culture, and technology, and creative entrepreneurship through workshops, masterclasses, and multimedia performances. If you would like to stay connected to Culture Connects, please join us at Cultural Explosion at ACND Facebook page and register by following the link that will be provided in the comments section. If you have any questions during today's event, please send them in the comments section and we'll have them answered in the Q&A session that follows. Without any more delay, I'd like to ask that you join me in welcoming our esteemed guests for this event, Kusha and Ambika. Thank you so much for joining us and we hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you for having us.
Tech problems. Hi, my name is Ambika Muttoo. On good days, I'm a journalist and an editor. On bad days, I'm the ultimate procrastinator and drink far too much coffee to make sense of anything at all. Fortunately, this is a very, very good day. And we're speaking about something that really gets my brain cells going. The subject of today's conversation is Content Creation 101. And who better to discuss this with than one of the most original voices and faces on the internet and our screens right now. You know her through her many different avatars, whether Zulmi Auntie, Mawok Anand, or Monday Auntie. She has the ability to make poignant, engaging, funny, unforgettable content on a variety of different topics, which we're definitely going to get into through the course of this conversation. It is the one and only Kusha Kapila.
Okay, this is too flattering, especially coming from somebody who's been my boss. I feel I should set the record straight that Ambika was my boss in the job where I actually started creating content. And right before Ambika interviewed me, I was rejected in 5 jobs. And I remember going into that interview thinking that I could lose nothing. At this point, I've hit rock bottom. I could lose nothing. And she asked me, who's your favorite designer? And I was like, who is yours? That was a shot that I was willing to take. So I'm so glad to be doing this with you, Ambika.
And that's the part that made me love you even more. And to also set the record straight, I think, honestly, working with Kusha is what also changed the trajectory of my life and my career. So I think we were each other's bosses, to be honest. But you've done so much over the last couple of years. I wanted to start off with kind of delving into your past, because I definitely feel that what influences you in the past is what informs your opinions in the present, right? So talk to me a little bit about what you were watching and what you were consuming and what got you going when you were growing up.
I was watching everything from Bollywood movies, which was obviously the #1 form of content that we consume in India. And a lot of ads, because you tend to watch a lot of Indian television and the ads come every 15 minutes, right? So yeah. I was really intrigued by the entire structure of ads and how ads were written. That always really intrigued me. So those were the 2 things that I was consuming all the time when I was growing up. But I'll have to say largely Bollywood. That was what we were watching for the longest time, because the internet explosion only happened when we were about 19, 20. If you ask me a decade before this, we couldn't have thought of this career, this job, a decade ago. We couldn't have thought of becoming content creators. But I feel uh, right now it just seems to be a very plausible option for everyone. But if you just ask me, I was just only watching Bollywood movies and ads, and that is not a very impressive, uh, watch record.
No, I think it is because it definitely kind of like fires your imagination in so many different ways. And I feel like with you, it did. Simply for the fact that, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, and they should, because you are actually very good at a number of different things. We talked a little bit about designers and fashion, but I also need everybody to know that you're a fantastic writer. So I kind of, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about like what talk to me a little bit about the period before you kind of dove head first full time into content creation, because you had so many different interests and you were good at everything. So what was the bridge about?
The bridge was I could do something by myself. I don't have to be in a job. I don't have to work under somebody. I feel that was my biggest drive to be able to take this career seriously. For the longest time, I was extremely unsure about content creation. You know that, Ambika.
Yeah.
Because even before trolls, you have friends and relatives around you who are constantly questioning you that what are you doing with your life at 28? Why would you want to switch your career and get out from a perfectly stable job? So
Yeah.
those were my reasons to fully dive into content creation. But at the same time, I feel it's so interesting you asked me this question that what did you watch when you were growing up?
Yeah.
My content is informed by my experiences. So I think I have watched people while growing up. I have observed people. I've been that person who sits in the corner and just enjoys all kinds of personalities and just watching like a hawk, loving the variety of conversations that are happening around me. So when I realized that all of this all of these lived experiences and all of the, uh, I should say, trauma also
Mm-hmm.
that I have just amassed thanks to the many, many beautiful, diverse things that you get to hear from your Indian relatives. I feel when I put that out into the world, I got a very positive reaction out of it, and I was like, oh my god, there are other people who have felt similarly and who feel like they could relate with me. So
Yeah.
I was really shocked by the power that you could have over people
Yeah.
just with your experiences and your content. So that's what really drove me to do this.
Yeah. I think it also shows in the various characters and avatars that you create, because
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why people resonate so much is because they see something of their lives and their experiences and their various traumas, etc., in them as well.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I have to say, and this is kind of harking back a little bit earlier to what you said, was it does take a lot of courage to be able to find your voice, especially at a time when content creation was always such a gamble. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel the pandemic last year really changed the game for a lot of people. And of course, it was heading there over the last couple of years. But I think when you kind of made that switch, I mean, it was definitely a gamble and it took a lot of courage, right?
It was a mad, chaotic place, I would say. Anybody was doing anything, and well, that's still the definition of internet. Anybody is doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel it's a more organized sector now. The platforms are recognized for what they could do for your career as a creator. But
Mm-hmm.
when we were starting out, and I say we because honestly, it's great that you're sitting next to me because we were all a part of this. It was a collaboration when I started making content.
Mm-hmm.
We had we had our creative head, all of those people. So uh, definitely in that sense, we were putting out anything and everything that we thought could work, and 7 out of 10 things did not work, which I
Mm.
feel a lot of people don't realize about content creation.
Yeah.
We are so obsessed with getting it right and getting it perfect that we don't put out a lot of content which would actually work for us as markers for stuff that would not work. It's
Okay.
always nice to sieve those things out and know that this is not going to work out. So maybe I will not put out this kind of content. A lot of what I have learned in content creation has been from the content that I've put out, and I've realized, okay, this is not, people are not vibing with this. Maybe this needs to better itself. Maybe this needs to be said differently, or maybe the gaze I've picked needs to be different. Maybe there needs a third person gaze so it sounds funnier than it actually is.
Yeah.
So all of those things you can only know. You know this, Ambika. When we were making videos, we were making how many videos a day? Maybe 4, 5 videos a day, and we were putting out a video piece almost every day. So you could
Yeah.
almost imagine that we have tried everything that there was to try, and you know this. You can attest to that.
Yeah. But I think with you, I mean, it was such a learning. I learned everything that I learned around you guys, to be honest, because it was uncharted territory for everybody. But I feel like the space that you're in right now, I think you brought up something which is very, very important. It was actually my next point, which was how do you know when your content is actually working? Like, because now, especially, it is such a crowded space. Even
Yeah.
and so what are a couple of the indicators on whether or not you're moving in the right direction for you and your audience? So, because, yeah.
Yeah. Ambika, engagement is the top contender when it comes to knowing what is working or not. But at the same time, I feel it's very important that as a creator, you know why you're in this space. What is it that you want to put out for yourself? Like, what should come out from you as a creator that people will uh, recognize as your content?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, it was the characters. When I decided to pick up characters and actually address a lot of the social issues, maybe something as simple as gender inequality, and I wanted that uh, sort of narrative to come from an Indian auntie who herself is victim of patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very easy to diss Indian aunties, and we don't realize that they themselves are victims and we don't even know it, right? So I wanted to sort of create that universe where you could say the things that you wanted to and kind of like envelope them in like jokes so that people are not immediately offended or, thrown off by the
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
So I feel like finding that one thing that is so me, like so Kusha, that
Yeah.
was one thing that really worked for me. And when you put
Yeah.
a template like that which is addressing a social cause and is also funny, and then you try to work on different templates. Okay, if this is working, let me add this and make it more, let it have more gumption. Let's see
Yeah.
if this is going to work. Let's see if this gumption well, so as and when you put out content that you think is working out, you gain a little confidence and you sort of then go all out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like content that work also give you a lot of confidence to try out stuff that you usually wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true. Um, but with you, that is such a wide palette of things because I mean, you're at 1.6 million followers on Instagram. You're over 261,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm going to get into later. And I feel that your audience, and you see this, your audience base starts off as teenagers and goes up to people in their 50s. You see this whether you're at Fashion Week or whether you're at like a restaurant, well, when we could go to restaurants. There's such a variety of people who come up and talk to you. So, that must also play into your mind. And does that also change your perspective in any way? The fact that you're also speaking to a variety of people across ages, across genders, and across cities.
I'd never make my content thinking about it has to hit this age group or that age group.
Hmm.
The way that this age group did get into my content was not planned. When we started making the South Delhi videos,
Mhm.
we did not know that a 20-year-old could watch this with her 50-year-old mother. We did
Mhm.
not know that we were bridging the gap between generations, and that's the beauty about accidental content making, right? You
Yeah.
don't know what it could possibly bring you, what kind of rewards it could bring you.
Yeah.
So obviously that kind of accidental privilege is no longer so easily granted to me because now I've become extremely particular about the content I want to put out. I think I put a lot of thinking, a lot of thought into what needs to go out from me because Now there's certain like personal benchmarks that I also have for myself when it comes to content. But what we created in the first content piece that we created, just out of sheer uh, you know curiosity, that it, let's see if this works out. I feel like that kind of time can never come back. There is some different kind of beauty about improv content making and putting out content without any expectations. And I feel that's what new content creators have. They have that privilege to discover what could work for them. I feel like when you are in this for about 1 or 2 years, then those moments happen very rarely. It's seldom that you'll put out something that's completely um, away from what your online persona is. But new
Yeah.
creators can really go all out and really have some sort of an accidental virality happen to them, and it's chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
That moment of magic when you just suddenly like arrive at something and you don't know how exactly you arrived upon it, but there it is. And it
Because,
kind of gives you,
Eureka, am I funny? Do people think I'm
yeah,
funny? Oh, you think I'm relatable? Oh my god, thank you.
yeah, it is. But at the same time, I mean, it's so interesting that you're addressing those newer content creators because they're also looking at you for their
Yeah,
cue.
yeah.
And you said that it's a privilege actually to be in that position, and it's really nice because it's almost sepia tinted in everybody's memories, right? When you just first started out and you're still kind of figuring it out. But at the same time, with experience also comes privilege, and I mean that from hard work and everything. So it's a dual-edged sword. They're also looking at you saying, "Hey, oh my God, when I get there, um, will I still have that magic, and will I still be able to kind of like continue doing what I'm doing?" So while this seems like a very, like interview 101 question, uh, after so many years, what is it that keeps you inspired and what keeps you going on the days that you feel uninspired?
I feel I want to answer validation, but it's suddenly gained such a negative connotation that why do you do this for validation? But I feel positive validation also really
Yeah.
pushes you in the right direction. I feel if there's something called constructive feedback, there is something called a constructive compliment, which really tells you about how your content really reached out to them and how it made them feel better about themselves. I don't think that kind of validation is harmful for anyone, and I thrive on that kind of validation. uh, Ambika, like in the lockdown, and you know this, I had this spell where I was really concerned about the trolling that was happening online, and one of the incidents really affected me deeply. And I think it was around that time that I made this pact with myself, where I was telling myself that I have to focus on the people who have lent their attention to me. I feel getting attention is the biggest privilege that you have, and it comes with time, and you've earned it. It's not just been handed over to you. You earn your time, and you earn your place online, and that's what I've done. I've earned it. But because the imposter syndrome is something that's constantly just like moving around you, that you don't have you don't have it in you, that you'll accept that to yourself. So to answer your question, what drives me, a message from a 19-year-old girl who said that I was extremely suicidal, and I didn't do this because I saw your content, and it made me think otherwise. Stuff like, my mom was really upset today and she saw your video, and she and I were fighting, and then after watching your video we're just like friends again. So the fact that a bunch of people can just vibe on my content and it can bring people closer. So many times I'll have people send me, bhajans and all of those devotional songs that I've done, and I'll have
Yeah.
like 3 people dance to it. So when you are making that kind of impact, why think about the people you're not reaching out to? Well, they can go to someone else.
Oh God, you brought up so many important points, and there's so much. Um, Most importantly, validation. And I don't personally understand how that became like a bad word. I mean, if you look at it in your personal life, I mean, when did it become a bad thing to actually go up to somebody and say, "Good job"?
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
doing okay, or reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, what you made was really funny, or you made my day, or thank you. And I think it's very, very important that you highlighted that, because, I mean, the internet, to put it politely right now, is a very democratic space, right? It's also a very, very divisive space. And everyone has an opinion, and everybody also has a platform to air it. And I think what you've spoken about is the process of learning how to accept necessary and helpful feedback.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
people who aren't, I honestly don't even know what to say anymore about the people who don't act in that manner, the trolls. I've never been able to understand that. And I know that you've had a lot of it. And
Yeah.
it's it's baffling to me, because it's honestly over videos that you have been brave or courageous or spoken up about. You've put your opinion up.
Yeah. I think it also has to do with the fact that with the internet, you have so many women
Mm-hmm,
finally coming out and voicing their opinions,
mm-hmm,
and it is a strange sight for a lot of people.
mm-hmm.
Uh, when you say it's a democratic space, we also want it to be an equal space.
Yeah.
When it come, and it's not only for the two genders that we're not thinking in binary here. We're thinking about male, female, non-binary gender. We're thinking about everything here, right? It should be an inclusive space for anyone, you know. Um, you know, people have trouble accepting that trans women are women.
Mm-hmm,
They have trouble accepting that women are funny, and basic things that you don't need to have anyone's permission for. You don't need any. That is one place where you don't need anyone's validation,
no.
but you constantly get attacked for those things. I feel in that scenario you only have to continue to speak your truth. You have to speak your truth. You have to constantly speak your truth, and just beat them with that. Beat them with your conviction. Beat them with your funniness, if you can call it that.
Your humor.
Yeah, your humor, your you know and I also feel, Ambika, a lot of the haters, when they are so stubborn with their opinions and views, I feel it is also coming from a place of insecurity. It is
Mm,
coming from a place of misinformation. It is coming from a place of absolute ignorance and absolute dismissal of the sense of equality in this space, because they have viewed the world to be unfair, and that's what's ingrained in them, and that's their upbringing. So it's so
mm-hmm.
difficult, and it's actually obnoxious for them to accept it. It's bizarre. This entire concept for them is bizarre.
Yeah.
So
So how dare you do it? You know?
yeah, how can you do
Mm,
it? So I
mm.
feel, yeah, you have to speak truth to the power. You have to continue to speak your truth and do. You can't possibly alter your content according to that. I don't endorse that. So yeah,
No, no.
be even louder. Say it even louder for the people
Yeah.
in the
I think what you've highlighted also is that I, I worry about a lot of people and people that I'm close to, and I sometimes wonder how you also take care of yourselves during periods like this. Because it's just it's almost deafening sometimes, the noise, right?
Yeah,
But I think what you've also done is highlighted how to kind of make your way through that tunnel and find the light, and kind of focus on what it is that is important. And I think that's incredibly empowering, what you just said. Um, and I hope people who are kind of getting into content and hopefully will not find themselves in situations where they have to deal with the same, but probably will, because it's the internet. Hope they focus on that too. I genuinely do.
yeah.
Um,
I
so
say a little prayer for them every time I see a troll.
yeah,
That
do a lot of newer content creators reach out to you and have chats with
they do. A
you?
lot of female creators in the recent past have reached out to me for how to make a rate card, and I think it's cool for them to think that I can be the person who can help them. I have
Yeah.
helped a bunch of girls, and I've told them this is how you could do it, and
Mhm.
ask for your price, know your worth. When you're just starting out, and if you're doing it, alone. I had the privilege that I was surrounded by people like you, people like Santu, who's my partner now. So I was surrounded by the people who could tell me to, like, know your worth. But a lot of the newer content creators who absolutely have no background in content creation, they don't know how to, navigate this world.
Yeah.
It's a very intimidating world.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that people think of me as a person they could reach out to. People have reached out to me for collaborations, and I have done collaborations with a bunch of them. So I I love to promote new content, and it is so exciting for the Indian content sphere that so many more content creators from different places are coming,
Mhm.
and uh, it's always nice to hear a new opinion, a new kind of narrative altogether. You know,
Yes.
it's not it's an interesting space in the sense that it's more inclusive. It's and it has to be more caste inclusive. It has to be more class inclusive, and uh, I feel like if you're somebody, a creator who is in a position of power,
Mhm.
you need to constantly also amplify voices that need amplification.
Mhm.
Uh, I would say there are a lot of voices that don't need as much amplification, but there are some that do need. So I feel as a creator, you should always be on the lookout for. You should do your bit. You should do
Yeah.
your bit. And I try to. I make mistakes, and I accept them. So yeah.
Mhm. Um, yeah, but I mean that also in my mind when you were talking about that, I couldn't help but also think about the subject of loving satire. I mean, even we it's important to highlight all those voices because they also need representation. And sometimes when you said the voices that don't need highlighting as much, they also do pop up in your work, but to highlight the other as well. Sometimes you have to have both, right?
Yeah, yeah. What's the point of empowering the already empowered?
Yeah,
They're going to they have the resources and they're going to get there.
yeah.
But if you think that if you could amplify a voice that deserves to
Hmm.
be amplified and that would need the amplification, considering the many prejudices that our society have,
Hmm.
why not do it? Do it. Just don't talk about. Just don't go on a panel and talk about it. Do it. Do it quietly.
You know, I mean, considering we were talking about younger content creators or newer content creators, and you brought up the point that, um, you were lucky to have people around you who helped, and likewise, by the way, absolutely ditto the same. Um, how I think this is also important because a lot of people who are just about getting into content creation are kind of struggling right now. So when is it crucial, or is it crucial at all, to start putting a team together? And I know we talked about the rate cards and everything. I don't want to get into that, but it's a proper business right now. It really is. So is it important to start assembling a team? Is it important to start looking towards an agency? Because that's also quite prevalent right now. Um, what is your take on that?
I feel when you look at content creation as a skill,
Hmm.
you should first know all the skills to be able to do it properly.
Hmm.
Uh, should know editing, and I am a big endorser of some because there are going to be times when you have to do stuff on your own.
Hmm.
So definitely when you're just starting out and you don't have a regular income or a cash flow, I
Hmm.
would definitely say that definitely know all the skills, know all the tools that you equip yourself with all the tools. And
Hmm.
if you feel like the tools available to you are tougher, find easier tools for yourself. I, for instance, make Instagram videos, so I
Hmm.
know how to edit on my phone. I know
Hmm.
how to be able to click a picture for myself. I
Yeah,
know how to be able to do my makeup. And these were things I did not know 2 years ago.
yeah.
So definitely about the time to equip yourselves with all the tools. But also at the same time, I would say uh, don't delay getting representation by a firm or an agency. I feel that is also so important in the sense that you could lose out some precious business and
Yeah.
some actual business if you don't know the business side of things.
Mhm.
A lot of creators could be very savvy because they might have background in it, but a lot of people will not be.
Mhm.
So acknowledge it and immediately do something about it. But when it comes to content creation tools, know all the tools. Or get somebody to work, or you absolutely don't want to, then get somebody to work with you on a retainer. I feel like that system needs to come in place, because a lot of people think content creation is a very on-the-go job, and it is. But it has to have a lot of discipline. It needs discipline. You cannot be a content creator without discipline. And as you grow, your work is only going to grow. You're going to work on branded deals. You're going to work on original content. You will also have offline events and content pieces that you will make. You will also make content that you'll have lesser control over than you will have for your own original content. So all of those formats are going to happen. So all of it also depends on what you want to do. If you want to focus on one platform, and if that's the journey that you want to have, then you will tailor make it to your specifications. But I would definitely say, when you think that there is an opportunity to make something bigger out of it, and I'm talking about the financial aspect of it, definitely get representation. I feel that can really help. There are people who know things better than you do, and acknowledge that. There are people who know things better than you. Take their help. It'll really help you.
That's what I love about you. This was exactly what people needed to hear as well. Really, it is what people needed to hear. But you also, again, you're bringing up so many salient points. And it was one of my questions saying, yes, get help. But I also think that it's really important to know the basics, like you said. Like I don't know whether it's because we've worked together in studios and everything, but I also think it's super, super important to know rudimentary skills in makeup and hair and angles and lighting. I know you could do your makeup and hair, without any light in the back of a beyond, and still be able to show up at a shoot on time and slay it. And that only comes with knowing yourself, knowing what to do with all of it, and then performing, right? That's important. But the second is also, you brought up all the different platforms, and there are very many different ones right now. I mean, we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about YouTube, we're talking about even your Triller, etc. Right? Again, I think sometimes people might get into it with some level of confusion and trying to kind of do too much at the same time. So how do you kind of differentiate between platforms? For example, when you are trying to build on Instagram or IGTV as opposed to YouTube, because you also did it in a particular succession, right?
Yeah. I feel Instagram was really up and coming when I started making content, and I was already I already had presence on the company I was working for that time when it came to YouTube and Instagram. Instagram just felt slightly easier for me that time because it only needed 1 minute content, and the kind of content I was making, short form content, it was working really well. And since we were making videos around South Delhi women, that kind of audience was hanging out more on Instagram, is what I realized. So that entire decision was completely driven by the kind of audience that I was getting at that time. But having said that, I haven't fully, I would say, thrown myself into YouTube as much as I have on Instagram. But I do have a presence because of Netflix YouTube, where I have a weekly show called Behansplaining. I have collaborated with a bunch of brands and their YouTube channels. So that kind of presence was always there. But it was not premeditated. It was not a very strategic decision at that. Just because of the kind of content we were making, it seemed more suitable for Instagram. Having said that, I have worked in digital all my life. At the age of 22, my first job was in digital. And that time, it was that people are reading online. People are not buying newspapers. All of the reading is happening online. And I was writing for a fashion website. Then I got into digital advertising. Then I got into an e-commerce platform where they said that e-commerce platforms are all the rage, and that is how people are going to consume fashion or any FMCG products. Then I got into, I iDiva, where I was writing, I was breaking news, I was writing about events as and when they were happening. Like, it's like while speaking, I'm writing something, it has to go out in the world ASAP. So, that way I have had that advantage of being slightly even more so ahead of the curve, where I know that being in the digital space, you'll have to be extremely flexible. And I know now that as a creator, I always will frown upon, the algo, oh my God, why is this platform changing? But you signed up for it. This is what technology is. This is what digital is. It is going to change. Its very nature is that it is going to change. And I shouldn't even be surprised. I was doing something else as 22, and look at what I'm doing at the age of 30. 30. We'll just cap it at 30. And look what I'm doing at the age of 30. So its very nature is to constantly evolve. And we can like it and we cannot like it, but the platforms are not listening. All I hope for is for the internet's sanctity to remain, for it to continue to be democratic, for it to be a safe, secure place. Those things I would continue to even voice my opinion about, but I can't say much about the fact that newer platforms will come and, oh my God, this platform is not listening to me. But because it's run by a company, and that is how most things will work.
Absolutely. Oh, my brain's ticking so much with everything that you said. Number one, also, by the way, I would like to say on the record that Kusha can write the best headline on the planet in 2 seconds flat. And she can also, just bust out one of the most, she writes incredibly thought-provoking op-eds as well. And I really love that about you. And I think what keeps you separate from everybody is just how good a writer you are, because that also kind of informs what you do personally right now. You are able to write fantastic scripts, and you are able to kind of find, but but listen, it's important to highlight that.
Did you all just call me so that to give me like an ego massage? It's working. This is so great for my self-worth.
But it is true. You're
a fantastic writer.
No, but the reason why I'm also bringing that up is because for younger... I think we're kind of losing Kusha a little bit right now. Kusha, sorry, you're going in and out, so I missed all the wonderful things that you said, but I'm assuming it was wonderfully complimentary as well, which I'm very happy about.
I was just saying that this entire conversation is like a spa for my self-worth.
Well, you kind of provide that to other people, but also it's a reminder about how to hone your skills. The reason why I keep bringing up that you're a fantastic writer is because that also informs your sketches and your comedy and all the various characters that you make. You know how to write. It's a skill, it's crucial.
Yeah, I feel writing is definitely one of the major skills that helped me in my entire content creation journey. Although I in the last 3-4 months, I have not done very writing heavy content. Specifically because the way we're consuming content is also changing. Content is getting even shorter. So either you invest a lot of time in it and make like long form content that makes sense, and not just you don't make it for the sake of it. But if you look at a platform like Instagram, how people are choosing to consume content is via reels, is via really short form content. Like in 30 seconds, you have to say something funny, and that cracks people up, and then they'll share it. So it's changing. It's definitely changing in that scenario.
Yeah. I also wanted to kind of keep the positivity going, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the fellow creators that you're close to, because I really love going online and seeing all of you support each other. So talk to me a little bit about your tribe and the importance of having one.
Yeah, I have to I mean, definitely talk about the creator of South Delhi series, Santu Misra, who is my partner now. So I was really lucky in that sense. So that has been the luckiest I feel.
All of us.
I'm so glad that he thought of me as a person that he'd like to represent. So he represents me now. But other than that, we were a bunch of creators
Mhm.
creating in that space, and that space was some sort of like a content wonderland, I would like to call it. So there
Mhm.
was Dolly Singh, who is a fantastic, brilliant young woman whose story is honestly so inspiring for all of us. And I feel like I get so emotional talking about her, especially because we have done everything together.
Yeah.
Every little landmark that's happened for us, it's happened together. Recently, we were awarded by the Delhi government, and it happened for the both of us at the same time. So incredible things have happened. And I
Congratulations.
feel, yeah, she's like my twin in that sense.
Yes.
So we're always like, stuck at the hip
Yeah.
situation when it comes to our content journey.
Yeah.
There's and I have friends like Komal Pandey, Siddharth Batra, Ankush Bahuguna, who are all fantastic creators. Komal, for instance, is somebody who's a fashion creator, and like, although the content she makes is completely different from mine,
Mhm.
but it's so inspiring to see her just be her savage self.
Mhm.
So similarly for Siddharth Batra, who's a fashion creator himself, he and all these, and Siddharth, for instance, has started in front of me, and he
He
started
did.
creating in front of me. And there's Ankush Bahuguna, who also we've created and ideated and executed together in the same space. There is my personal favorite creator has to be Srishti Dikshit,
Yeah.
ex-Buzzfeed, and
Yeah.
what an incredible talent. And also, we do the Behensplaining series together, so it's really, in that sense, it has to be. I'm extremely lucky to be sharing that space with her. There's Malika Dua, who's a pioneer when it comes to comedy content. She was one of the first women to do it. In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
digital space, I would say. Yeah, the names will just keep coming. You have Prajakta Kohli, who's just broken into the entire Netflix sphere, and that is such a benchmark for us. And she's paving the way for all of us, I feel, in that sense. Yeah, I think I could
So,
Shwarya Mohan Raj, and like
yeah.
so many interesting female creators who have just like killed, dude. They have killed it. They have absolutely. You have Sumukhi Suresh, who's a comic herself and has written a whole show, and acted in it and written it. Pushpavali. It's it's an endless list. There's so many people inspiring you and paving the way for you. It's honestly inspiring.
It's a circle of life. You're doing the same for others as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great content. I just, I kind of want to bring it back a full circle a little bit because we're going to wrap up soon. We started off with what you were watching when you were growing up, and you brought up all these fantastic names. So, just wanted to get a few specifics. What are you watching now? What are you consuming these days? Any?
Nothing. I'm
Right?
working every day. I am working every day, and it's the thing is, the world has slightly opened up right now, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I was to be shot last year
Mm-hmm.
is going to be done now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading a book. It's my first Murakami book, and it is so intense
It
that
is.
after 200 pages, it's the wind up bird. And after 200 pages, I'm just like, uh, it's too much for me. It's getting too intense. So I've taken to reading a little bit, and it's hilarious considering I make content. But I had this need where I was like, I have to read something, and I picked up like a tough Murakami book because I was just thinking to myself that when was the last time I read something? Am I only watching content? Is that what's happening with me? So I just started reading that one. It's 200 pages in. I think it has some 700 odd pages, but I'll
Yeah.
get to finish it.
Be very.
It's a very story.
I would be so intrigued to see how that kind of pops up in one of your, because I mean, you're it's I understand what you're talking about and why you're saying it, simply for the fact that like everything that you do has to be immersive. You have to be a sponge,
Yeah.
because I mean, whether it's any of your characters, and I have my personal favorites, and I love them because there's research that goes into it, and that research can also come by having your eyes and ears open. You have to be a sponge. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Also, also,
absolutely
also, Ambika, I actually watch a lot of crime shows, and that's what I'm into. The last one I saw was The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel,
uh-huh.
and what's really interesting about it that I have been following that case for about 6 7 years now. When I first read about it, so I
Hmm.
knew everything about it, and then I watched the documentary also, and then
Hmm.
I just spiraled down and watched a lot of older documentaries, rewatched them,
Hmm.
crime documentaries, and that's my jam. And I don't know that's why is that my jam. I'm trying to figure that out in therapy. But also after a while, when you've seen everything and just consumed all kinds of content, you're just constantly looking for something that amazes you
Yeah,
in some sense. So
spark something off as well.
yeah, so I told someone the other day, I'm looking for something that amazes me. And they're like, wow, that is a very specific brief that you've given.
But it makes sense too. I mean, I think a lot of our patterns, especially over the last year, changed. I mean, I watch K-pop like it's going out of style. K-pop
Oh, yes, of
drama.
course.
Yeah, and I am so happy that it
K-dramas.
exists.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know. Wow. So there's
Crash Landing on You, my favorite. Actually, my favorite is Something in the Rain. I've actually watched everything on Netflix.
yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Me
So,
too. Me too.
yeah, yeah.
God, it's always so informative, and I think it's really, really helpful. I hope people watching this get the inspiration that they need. Um, I kind of want to end this conversation with something that I've started asking people who I like, especially more. If there is one great truth that you live by now, what would that be?
Nothing is permanent. And I live by it. And I stick to it mostly because in my world, in my profession, bad feelings come by very easily, and a bad moment, failures come by very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And before I started doing this, I was just telling you I was rejected in 5 jobs. And I remember going to one interview where I literally told, I had read up everything about my interviewer, and I told her, "Oh, congratulations on your engagement." She's like, "That is so creepy. Why do you know?" I said, "They follow you on Instagram and your profile is open. I'm sorry, just like hire me, just hire me, please. I just need this job." So I was at a point in my life where I would do anything to be in a stable job, which was worthy for me, and I was worthy for it. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nothing is permanent. If you feel like you failed at something, it's a very temporary failure. Tomorrow's a new day. You can do something. You can fix things. You can fix whether it's relationships, whether it's people. You can always
Yourself.
try to be better. Yeah, you can try to be better. And if you made a mistake, yeah, you can be kinder to yourself. If you're not kinder to yourself today, you can be kinder to yourself tomorrow. If you
Mm.
fail at your diet, if you've not done your skincare for today, if you think like you've really failed as a person today, tomorrow you cannot fail. You can choose to not fail. So nothing is permanent, and that's what I tell myself. This will go. This will pass. It'll take 5 days and it'll pass.
It does. It does. Oh, that's a really great message to live by as well. And yeah, it's important also to be kind to yourself because that's also how you learn how to be kind to other people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind
For
of
sure.
harken back to what we were talking about a little earlier. People are
Yeah.
insecure. And learn how to be kinder to yourself, and maybe one day you will be having a conversation with me and Kusha Kapila about how you made it at the content sphere.
100%.
Yeah, Kusha, it is always just such a treat talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I just want everybody to also keep an eye out on the Wild City and the American Center Facebook pages for all the upcoming events as part of Culture Connects. Thank you so much. I kind of want to keep this going for another hour or two, but time's are ticking.
No, we'll find a way to do that. You know
We
that.
will.
And thank you so much for having me. This is such a, sophisticated and nice and chakra chat. And I am dressed like a person who's gonna have a real, real substantial conversation. So in that sense, it's good. And since I should definitely do my American accent, and there's only one thing I know, which is, oh my God, thank you. The one time I went to the US, literally everybody, it's like nobody, Americans, oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. That's it. That's my.
This
Are we allowed to do that?
I'm just gonna say that this also brings up a lot of memories. At 11 p.m. while we were still working, this definitely brings up a couple of things for sure. But Kusha, just all the success in the world to you. Thank you for being such a wonderful, kind individual who constantly reminds everybody that it's actually cool to be that way as well. So thank you.
Likewise, and I had a lot of fun participating here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be doing this with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Keke. Bye.